they are trapped at this point with each other.
A bombshell new article from Radar Online claims that Prince Harry is, quote, angry and frustrated at how his new life, living the promised American dream, has turned into a behind closed door nightmare locked in a Rapunzel like tower with his wife, Meghan Markle. I'm going to get all the insight from Lady Colin Campbell, who has been reporting on this before anyone else, in just 1 second. But first, let me take you through these new details. So Radar Online reports that sources have revealed that 5 years since the Duchess of Sussex set in motion the plan that would see them quit the royal family, Harry feels like he was, quote, missold the idea. Radar Online's source says Meghan sold their move to America as a way for their family to be happy, free, and relatively normal. But that doesn't seem to be the case for them and their kids at all. It's almost as if they, as a family, are living like Rapunzel in her tower. Even the locals in Montecito are puzzled. Archie and Lily are rarely seen with Meghan or Harry at local events like trick-or-treating at Halloween, for example. Harry is angry and frustrated at how things have turned out. He feels like he's been missold a life, plus he and Meghan are also leading pretty much separate lives. It's like they are an estranged couple living under the same roof. The children, by the way, according to Radar Online, are believed to attend a local school and nursery, and some online commenters have cheekily dubbed Lilibet Invisibet because the princess, who was born in California, has been seen even less frequently in public than her older brother. But a source added the biggest shock for Harry is that he thought raising the kids away from the royal family would give them more freedom. In California, though, the opposite has happened. In fact, Archie and Lilibet's world seems even more cosseted than his own upbringing as an heir to the British crown. It also says that Harry thinks that his kids deserve similar normal experiences growing up as his mother, Princess Diana, provided him, but Meghan is reluctant. One more real bombshell source quote here. Harry feels as if they are living in a bubble. He's beginning to think he had more freedom as a kid growing up in a palace. Of course, while Harry, like Meghan, will always prioritize their kids' safety, he's worried Archie and Lilibet are missing out too. Wow. Lady Colin Campbell, of course, we have been reporting on the strains in the marriage before anyone in the mainstream media. However, fascinating details here from Radar Online, and I have to give Radar Online credit because they have been brave on this story where many of their contemporaries in America have not been.
Yes, well, it's interesting, but you notice, Dan, how wide a net they cast, and some of it is actually quite accurate. For instance, the fact that had those children been brought up in Britain and living within the royal fold, Windsor is very protected, and Windsor has a lot of acreage, a hell of a lot more than Montecito. Sandringham, Balmoral, these, even the palaces in London, they are rather large complexes, except of course for Clarence House, which is a relatively small house. But the king lives in Clarence House. But the rest of the palaces are pretty large complexes, and they would have been having a suite of rooms in one of the palaces. So they would have benefited from the freedom that being ring-fenced by the royal protection squad would have provided them with. And it is when Harry goes on about, on the one hand, about how free California is, it's not free. First of all, you have to drive everywhere. Secondly, you're in a gated community and you really don't have that much contact with your neighbors. And if you break it down, the children are very isolated, and they would inevitably be isolated in a way that had they been within the royal fold here, they would not have been isolated. Because, for instance, in Kensington Palace, it's a vast complex. I'm sure you know it's a vast complex, but the public might not know, where you have some pretty grand apartments, but you have lots of little cottages and smaller apartments. And it's a village. It's a true village. And it's a village that's shut off from everywhere else. So there is a freedom there. And of course, if they are at Sandringham or Balmoral, they're on thousands of acres of protected property. So quite how, on the one hand, Harry and could feel that the children would benefit from a freer upbringing in California than they'd have here. It's again, it's a sign of, I'm sorry, insanity.
And what leads to that insanity? The mind boggles. You've had lots of impeccable sources on this. Do you think Radar Online's description as an estranged couple living under the same roof is broadly accurate?
I think it's certainly accurate some of the time. I don't know that it's accurate all of the time, but I think it is accurate some of the time. Harry and Meghan's relationship it follows a classical mold for particular personality types, and it's occasional ecstasy and lots of agony. And Meghan is notorious for having given all her men a tremendously rocky ride and a very hard time. She has no compunction about flying into their face over everything and nothing. And my understanding is that she's absolutely no different with Harry than she was with Trevor, who certainly deserved a medal. In fact, he deserved to be sainted. But she's done it with other men as well. And I would not be surprised if they play the public to a large extent, because they are trapped at this point with each other. And in a relationship like that, no matter how unhappy you are and no matter how much you yearn to depart, it's not that easy to extricate yourself, whether you are in the public eye or not in the public eye. And when you're in the public eye, it makes it even more difficult to extricate yourself. So, there's the facade that everything is fine, everybody is happy, that's maintained. And you notice when Harry was speaking to Sorkin, he said that he didn't say what his ambition was going to be for 30 years hence, but he made sure he got in that he's a good husband and father.
Oh, yeah, of course he is. Of course he is. No, indeed. And I think people have to be very clear that Harry's words in New York were purposefully vague, because we have always been clear, Lady C, in our reporting, that while there are strains in the relationship, it is a much bigger decision for this couple to decide to separate or divorce. And there are many other factors at play, including finances, including security, including where the children would live. And so he decided to almost make it all about divorce, whereas actually he wasn't prepared to at all address the issues that are quite clearly there in the relationship. But Lady C, sorry, there is one other topic I have to ask you about this week, because it just made me howl with laughter. I have to be honest, this report, I'm going to read it to you. Meghan Markle's embattled lifestyle business, American Riviera Orchard, is being written off as a flop because, having announced with great fanfare back in March that she had began a search for a suitable chief executive officer, with a source even telling the Daily Mail at the time Meghan is interviewing candidates for the CEO role, Prince Harry's wife was unable, apparently, to find anyone who matched her expectations. Now insiders say she has found the perfect candidate, Lady C, herself. A source close to Meghan leaked to the New York Post she is the CEO of American Riviera Orchard. Good Lord. Good Lord. This is going to be a terrible business, isn't it?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all? Me, me, me. I love me. I'm the best person in the world. Was she is absolutely beyond a joke. But I would have thought that any chance a right oik had, oh sorry, American Riviera Orchard, had
I
to
like
succeed,
that.
thank you, has just been buried.
Yeah.
It's so I think maybe Harry helped to scratch up the earth and bury that bit of matter underneath another banyan tree. Meow, says I. But she is not capable of running a company of that. I think, Dan, if I can just very briefly explain, some years ago, Arnold Scarsi suggested that I do a jewelry line for the shopping channel. And I looked into it and spoke to the head of the, what's it called, the shopping network thing. I can't remember what it's called now. But you have to have, for every product that you are making available for sale, you have to have in the warehouse several hundred dozen ready and waiting in case it's a success. And if it's not a success, you stand the hit because you have to then somehow get rid of that stock. Meghan has these big, bright ideas and doesn't understand what is involved. And also, who's going to be really promoting it? Who's going to be really helping her? You know, she'd like us to believe that Netflix is going to be behind it, yeah, and pigs fly.
Well, yeah, why on earth do they want to get behind a product? But Lady C, I want to talk to you about some other bad behavior from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, because this week they released a video, which we're going to take a little look at, which was promoting the Archewell Foundation. I find it quite bizarre that they think there's anything to be proud of, though, Lady C, given that they only raised $1 million, which is nothing, given the power that they have, given the wealth of the friends that they have, and also given the fact that they ended up then donating $250,000 of that to Joe Biden's daughter. Surely not a woman who needs the money given her connections. But if we just have a look at this video now, this video was released, Lady C, on the exact day that the royal family in the UK were hosting the state visit for Qatar, where I know that Harry and Meghan were absolutely livid that David and Victoria Beckham, their former close friends, were guests of honour. And of course, this goes against an unwritten rule within members of the royal family, which is that just stay away from a state visit. Just allow the state visit to take centre stage. This was purposeful, wasn't it, by Harry and Meghan?
You know, what are they actually telling us? They're actually telling us that their labours have been minuscule and that their results have been negligible. And they have tried yet again to muscle in and to knock the proper royal family out of the headlines, but they didn't succeed, because every time they do something like this, they still get attention, but it's lower down the totem pole than it used to be. 4 years ago, if they'd done something like this, it would have been lead news. Now it's not lead news. So they have overplayed their hand systematically. And as for giving $250,000 to the Biden girls charity. That comes perilously political donation.
Yes. Perilously close. Indeed, it does. And I also just thought, goodness me, you've only raised $1 million. I mean, that's pathetic. I know some people might think, oh, that sounds like a lot of money. Trust me, when you're dealing with their figures, that is a pathetic effort. They only put an hour of work into Archewell, the charitable side, every week. And then they decide, oh, let's give quarter of everything that we've raised to Joe Biden's daughter. A clear attempt to muster political influence. I just think it says a lot about them. But the other big... Oh, sorry, Lady C, you come in.
Oh, I was going to say, but doesn't it also show yet again what poor judgment they have?
Oh, terrible.
Because they were hoping that Biden would be a shoo-in. Not only was Biden not a shoo-in, nor was his acolyte Harris, and now they have Trump to deal with.
Indeed. Indeed, and I cannot wait. Lady C, just had to show you these great photos of Meghan at the Paley Centre. Literally, look at the PR right to the left, and she's just like, get off. Get off. According to Taz, put these together, and that's why I just wanted to show you them. Then there's, look, the other one on the other side saying, Meghan, please, just get off. Give Tyler Perry his moment, for God's sake. And then you see she's sort of dashing away, finally gets the message, but not there because she ain't happy. And I just thought, goodness me, those pictures summed up how not to do royalty or a regal approach. And I wanted to contrast it, Lady C, with King Charles, who had a delightful moment this week with a group of American tourists who happened to be in London and just had quite an astonishing encounter with the cancer-stricken King of England. I mean, Lady C, the contrast couldn't be any clearer. Isn't that how you do royalty?
Well, you know, Dan, the King and William are very gracious. Royalty is supposed to be gracious. Harry used to be gracious, but Meghan is graceless, and Harry has learned to be graceless as a result of her influence. I used to know Bill Paley, after whom the Paley Centre is named. He was Mr. Television in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And his wife, Babe, was one of Capote's swans. They had a house in Jamaica. And, I mean, he must be spinning in his grave to see, because he was a man of great taste and discernment, and so was she, Babe. And he must be spinning in his grave to see that a centre that's named after him has such tacky conduct taking place on a stage. I mean, you practically have to shoot Meghan to get her off the stage. It's beyond.
I know, it's like, just get off. Just get off. Oh, goodness me. Oh, Lady C, what a week of it we've had. What a week of it we've had. Your channel on YouTube is going to be absolutely must watch over the next few days. Cannot wait. And you know I love having you on Outspoken.
Perhaps the most eye-catching claim in the report is the comparison of the Sussex family's lifestyle to Rapunzel in her tower. The suggestion is that despite living in one of California's most exclusive communities, the family appears remarkably isolated from everyday life. Critics point to the fact that Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are rarely seen participating in ordinary community activities. Unlike many celebrity families who occasionally appear at local events, the Sussex children remain almost entirely out of the public eye. Supporters would argue that this reflects responsible parenting and a desire to protect the children's privacy. However, critics question whether the couple may have gone too far in creating a protective bubble around their family. The debate highlights an ongoing tension between privacy and normality. While shielding children from excessive media attention is understandable, some observers wonder whether complete isolation carries its own challenges. One of the most intriguing aspects of the discussion is the suggestion that Harry may now believe he had more freedom growing up as a royal than his children currently enjoy in California. At first glance, this may sound surprising. After all, Harry frequently described royal life as restrictive and burdensome. Yet commentators argue that royal estates such as Kensington Palace, Windsor, Balmoral, and Sandringham offered unique forms of freedom. These vast protected environments allowed royal children to move around safely while still enjoying outdoor activities, social interaction, and a strong family network. Within those secure settings, there was often more room for exploration than many people realize. If Harry is indeed reconsidering some aspects of his childhood experience, it would represent a significant shift in perspective from the narrative he has presented publicly over the past several years. The report also claims that Harry and Meghan are increasingly living separate lives despite remaining under the same roof. Such claims have circulated for some time, but they continue to attract attention whenever new reports emerge. Observers have noted that the couple have increasingly pursued separate projects and appearances. Harry has focused heavily on charitable initiatives and international engagements, while Meghan has concentrated on business ventures, media projects, and lifestyle branding. Of course, separate professional interests do not automatically indicate marital problems. Many successful couples maintain independent careers while remaining deeply committed to one another. However, the persistence of these reports suggests that questions about the strength of the relationship are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Major point of criticism concerns the timing of Sussex announcements. In this case, observers noted that an Archewell-related video was released during a period when the royal family was focused on an important state visit. Royal tradition generally discourages family members from competing for attention during major constitutional events. As a result, critics viewed the timing as deliberate and provocative. Whether that interpretation is fair or not, it reflects a broader perception that the Sussexes frequently attempt to reclaim headlines whenever significant royal events occur. This ongoing battle for media attention has become one of the defining characteristics of the post-royal relationship between Harry, Meghan, and the institution they left behind. The latest claims paint a picture of growing frustration, isolation, and uncertainty surrounding Prince Harry's life in California. While many of the allegations remain unverified, they touch on themes that have repeatedly surfaced over the past several years. Questions about freedom, family, privacy, and personal happiness continue to dominate discussions about the Sussexes. The contrast between the promises of their new life and the reality portrayed by critics remains a powerful narrative. At the same time, the practical obstacles to any major change are enormous. Financial interests, public image considerations, and family responsibilities ensure that any decisions would carry significant consequences. For now, the speculation continues. Whether the reports are entirely accurate or not, they reflect a growing belief among some commentators that the fairy tale vision once presented by Harry and Meghan may be facing its most serious test yet.